Welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, June 7th, 2022. I am Rochelle Baptiste. Vincentians flocked to Calico Plain Field on Monday to join the celebrations for Fishermans Day. This year saw a resumption of the event after a 2-year break due to the global pandemic and the eruption of La Soufrière volcano. 19 boats entered the competition and fishermen landed just under 2,800 pounds of fish in total. We hear more in this report.
It was fish galore at the celebration to mark Fisherman's Day on Monday. More than a dozen fishermen hit the high seas, hoping to land the heaviest catch and walk away with the title of Fisherman of the Year. 19 boats set out at first light, while members of the public enjoyed the music and other activities available at the Calico Plain Field. President of the National Fisher Fort Organization, Winsbert Harry, says although there were some challenges at sea, he's pleased to see that fishermen persevered in the competition.
The Sahara dust, visibility was very poor, but with the new technology that's streamed now and at the training that fishers are getting from the division now, I think it gives them a capability in terms of going out now and using this technology that they could have been manageable to get back shore. And the waves are very tight today. The seas was rough, the winds were very high, rain was coming in and out. So sometimes when you have these kind of conditions, it's not really a good day for fishing, but it's a competition. And being the fisherman of the day, I think fishers will go in their own risk, but I think at the end of the day, I think it was well attended by the fishers.
When the waves settled, 14 boats returned. In the Class 1 division, Humble Me, captained by Earl Medford, landed the heaviest catch of 411.6 pounds to win Fisherman of the Year. Surprise 2, captained by Kenroy Bruce, and Ambitious, led by Kimroy Thomas, took second and third place respectively. Thomas won in the category of boat with the heaviest single fish after he netted a 28.5-pound catch. Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, Saboto Cesar, says the fishing industry has made tremendous strides over the years, noting that the Argyle International Airport has created a crucial link between St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the rest of the world.
We have worked very hard as a nation, as a country, to develop the fishing industry in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I always begin from the premise that the Argyle International Airport laid the foundation for us to develop in St. Vincent and the Grenadines the fishing industry that we have today. The Argyle International Airport definitely created a link between St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the rest of the world. Direct flights, and we can boast today of sending as far as Hong Kong live lobsters.
Finance Minister Camilo Gonzalez says Vincentians should be grateful that while other protein sources have increased in price, fish is still available at a relatively cheap price.
We're in a period now where there's a war in Ukraine, where things are going up in price. Wheat costs more, meat that's imported costs more, but we still have this resource right here in the waters of St. Vincent and the Grenadines that costs the same as it costs last week and last year. Fish is fish. The fish doesn't charge the fisherman extra money. I mean, of course, he has more gas and so on. But absolutely, we're very happy that we can also highlight the potential of fish as a protein source in St. Vincent and the Grenadines when foreign and imported proteins are costing more money.
He outlined a number of initiatives government plans to implement to assist local fisher folk.
Because we believe so much in the potential of fisheries, the government is doing a lot of initiatives to try to get more and more people to take up fishing as a career choice and as a profession, and we're doing more and more to facilitate and support the fishers who are already in the business. So for example, for the lobster fishers, we're going to be providing free wire for them to make their lobster pots for the next lobster season. We've just concluded a deal with the government and people of Venezuela to bring larger vessels into St. Vincent and the Grenadines to train fishers to operate larger, more commercially viable vessels, and also to help increase the number of fish that we catch and land here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Traffic was brought to a standstill earlier in the Annisville area when an ambulance overturned on the highway along the decommissioned E.T. Joshua Airport and the Rubis gas station. Video footage circulating on social media shows two ambulances traveling from the direction of Kingston when the one behind appeared to have lost control and crashed into the right side of a white pickup truck heading in the opposite direction. Upon impact, the ambulance overturned and ended up facing the direction from which it was traveling. It is not clear whether any other person beside the driver was inside the ambulance when it overturned. However, no injuries were reported. We will bring you more on this story as further information comes to hand. In other news, vendors who ply their trade on the outside of Massey Supermarket in Annisville are now crying out to the government for help after their vending stalls were reportedly destroyed by police and their goods taken away in the wee hours of Monday morning. In 2020, the vendors were asked by the Physical Planning and Development Board to remove their structures. However, lawyer K. Bacchus-Batiste intervened on behalf of the vendors who continue to ply their trade in the area up until Monday, June 6, 2022. Our news team visited the area earlier today and spoke with a few of the affected vendors who all spoke with frustration as they are left to figure out their next step, lamenting that they have invested a number of years and finances into their small business.
Stall where I make goods to them. When I close at 4 in the morning, everything gone. And money on spend of the weekend, everything gone. And my goods are then gone.
So at 5 o'clock morning I come up. Me did police them damage my place. You know what? I was not. But I did on my phone, calling. People who tell people, boy, come up here, come see where I'm going. You know what? After that, I tell the police I want me goods them. But I get off the people on their property. I'm going to tell them no more I'm groceries, no I'm stuff on them. They want everything they want it. So, we want to know, I want to do about it. $1,000. I lose. I got family for mine. So, what we supposed to do now?
Longtime supporters of the vendors describe what took place on Monday morning as cruel, noting that the matter could have been better handled.
I come here down here and the supper time. I always around the fellas and them and help them around when things. I like to see all them promote themselves coming out, them feeling a vibes. So I like to see where I see yesterday when I come down the road and I come down about the streets and I just like never a building ever there around. Well, I think about them supposed to try help out the people them, even though you do that, you're supposed to try and find someone.
They don't start long, but I just sell long sometimes. But I don't like what they do. I think they should have come and just like show the people them before they come and wall and kind of thing. Take the people and thing and carry it away and show them all. And number one, the police them should never come and cause no bad work for the people them like this, right? And just take the people them and think nobody can come for nothing with they get it. So the police them just take them, pack them up and carry them out for carry.
Lawyer K. Bacchus-Batiste told SVG-TV News via a telephone interview that she is disgusted in the manner in which the vending stalls were removed.
I am appalled that the police and physical planning will take the law into their own hands to come like a thief in the night and destroy poor people's property. Take their fruits and vegetables and their implements of trade without any concern for the people and how they're going to deal with it. I am appalled by that.
Bacchus Petit said she still has 5 appeals pending since 2020 when the vendors were asked to move from the area. She said that to date, she has not received any response to those appeals.
Really upset by it. And what is more, I have about 5 appeals pending from 2020 when they tried to move them unlawfully. That's why I appealed. It was close to election. We did the appeal and they kept quiet for a while. But it seems to me that it is their intention to take the law into their own hands because they have not set a date for the appeal. They have not even responded to the fact that we have appealed on behalf of these vendors. And then to join with the police to come and remove people's things without notifying them. They cannot rely on the notice that was given to them in 2020, June or something like that, because that notice was also illegal. It was not served within the prescribed time to tell them to move. So those people have been there, every single one of them. They have been there for over 8, 7, 10 years. The law is, if you're going to give notices for people to remove, you will have to do it within 5 years. It was within 4 years. They amended to make it more difficult within 5 years. Every one of those vendors, they have been there for, as I said, 7, 8, 10 years. You can't suddenly come and just like you feel you're some, I don't know, take the law into your hands and destroy the people's property.
The lawyer said while she is not against the beautification of the area, other factors have to be taken into consideration.
I don't have an issue with cleaning up the area and for not impeding the free flow of traffic. I don't have an issue with that. But there are ways to do it where both can coexist. I am completely against any big businessman thinking that they must sacrifice the poor man for their business to flourish. We are in a free society. This is not communism. This is supposed to be a free society. And if the poor man wants to sell mangoes and oranges and plums and tanniers, why should they close down their business so that customers can come into masses?
Bacchus Petit also took the time to mention that she will be hosting a press conference at her office tomorrow at 1:30 p.m.
Here and now, I'm saying that I'm calling a press conference at my office tomorrow at 1:30 to ventilate this problem. We're going to hear from some of the vendors and we're going to plan a strategy because we are not going to accept that they take my, I don't want to say clients, because it is not a strict legal issue, it's bigger than that. Take their property, destroy them, and then they must be left without compensation in this hard go-over crop time.
It must be noted that our news team reached out to several officials to speak on the matter. However, no one was prepared to comment at this time, including Area Representative Curtis King, Minister of Urban Development Senator Julian Francis, a representative of the Physical Planning Board, and the police. In other news now, an agreement was signed today between the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and NH International Caribbean Limited for the construction of the Holiday Inn Express Hotel at the Diamond Industrial Estate. The construction company that was chosen by the government was described by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves as very influential, effective, and the largest construction company in the Caribbean region. PM Gonsalves noted that the contract for the hotel construction is 52 million Eastern Caribbean dollars. The government's hotel implementation unit will be responsible for monitoring the hotel construction, which is expected to be done over a period of 18 months.
And they're going to be, they're the eyes, that project implementation unit. They're the eyes and ears and the brains to make sure that the contractor, NH, that they do their work within the terms of the contract and on a timely basis and the quality and everything. Now, this hotel will be 92 rooms, and as you know, we are seeing already, not nearby, we see a very good hotel is going up there, Maya, Maya Luxury Suites, where Elliot McDowell of Caribbean Glass is the one who is the owner of that particular facility, which you see nearing completion. So there's going to be a little competition out there, which is good. And I'm sure a lot of visitors would go to both of them. And not only visitors, Vincentians too. We are hoping to see Vincentians taking weekends at them, and I'm sure they'll have special rates. I can't speak for Maya Suites, Luxury Suites, but I'm sure Mac is an enterprising businessman.
PM Gonzalez said that almost 100 Vincentians will benefit from employment on the construction site. He said that not only will the project create jobs, but the skills of those who will be employed will be enhanced for brighter opportunities.
At peak, you should have 100 and something employees, workers, maybe 100 and so thereabouts Vincentians, but they will bring in naturally some specialists and technical persons for short periods of time within the contractual period. And very interestingly, some of them are from Dominica. Some, I'm told, would be from Colombia because they have particular skills in construction, in doing particular things for a project of this kind. But I was talking to Kit, and he was telling me that when they went to Dominica to do work, they had gotten Dominicans to develop skills in particular areas. So they're going to use some of them here. But what they want to do, in addition to hiring the Vincentians, is to make sure that there's an effective transference of skills. This is why I used the word earlier about effective, because they will then be able to use some of the Vincentians who work on this project to go on other projects because they would have been developing the skills.
Managing Director of NH International Caribbean Limited, Kit Kennedy, thanked the government of SVG for giving the company the opportunity to construct the hotel. Kennedy said that Vincentians will also benefit from an internship program which the company started over a year ago.
NH International is one such company. Like I said, being the only and the largest construction company of its kind in the Caribbean, we have embarked actively in the last year on an internship program. An internship program where we bring into our fore engineers from across the Caribbean, architects now from across the Caribbean, QSs from across the Caribbean, because we think, based on what we are seeing, we need to make sure that there's continuity between this generation and the next generation in terms of how we develop skill sets. What we have found in a lot of instances is that the resources that we have to buy them. When I say buy them, import them from overseas. And we have to take a stance on making sure that we provide opportunities through learning, first and foremost, so that in another 3 to 5 years, we can say that we are fully and totally a Caribbean outfit employing Caribbean people across the Caribbean.
A St. Lucian government delegation led by the Minister of Commerce, Manufacturing, Business Development, Cooperatives and Consumer Affairs and Chairperson of the Cannabis Task Force, Emma Hippolyte, will visit St. Vincent and the Grenadines from tomorrow, June 8th, to the 10th. According to Minister of Agriculture Sapoto Cecil, the objective of the visit is to share information on the development of the cannabis sector in St. Lucia. Minister Cecil said both countries will benefit from joint investment and capacity building. The St. Lucian contingent, which also comprises of Dylan Norbert, Inglis, a Deputy Chairperson, Vernie Manuel, PRO, and Andrew DeCaris, a task force member, will meet with traditional cultivators and members of the Rastafarian community and will pay courtesy call to Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. The Dr. Cecil Cyrus Museum is set to be transformed into a healthcare and outpatient surgery center. The museum, which was first opened in 2002, has been purchased by an international charitable organization. On Friday, the center was officially launched at the Cyrus family home in Montrose at a ceremony attended by Governor General Dame Susan Duggan, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, and local medical officials. Dr. Eri Purdy from Fort Wayne, Indiana, in the USA, spoke to the media at the ceremony, where he explains that the center will treat Vincentians who suffer from various eye disorders and diseases. He says while all the details have not been finalized as yet, the cost of the services will most likely be subsidized. Dr. Purdy says he believes the center will ease some of the pressure facing the island's primary healthcare institution.
Start getting into all of the multiple specialties of ophthalmology, neurology, neurosurgery, plastic surgery, ophthalmology, and very subspecialized area like cardiovascular surgery. It becomes extremely hard for a community hospital to support all those services. Even back where I live in the United States, a smaller community hospital can't support all of those services. So I think when you start looking at specialty areas like ophthalmology and ear, nose, and throat and plastic surgery, sometimes having an outpatient facility dedicated to that specialty or dedicated to a few specialties, it takes some of the strain off the local hospital. The ophthalmologists here are eager and willing to work throughout the year, but sometimes they run out of some of the very specialized supplies that are needed for cataract surgery and other eye surgeries. Just doing one surgery on one person's cataract requires about 40 different items. But if we had to purchase all of those supplies to come down here, we couldn't do it. So we really rely on a lot of corporate donations as well. And we're hoping to continue that in the future to help support the local programs here, the hospital, the surgery center. So I think specialty area, it's really, really amenable to an outpatient surgery center.
Representative of the I Mission, Dr. McCabe, says the charity is excited to build on the legacy left behind by Dr. Cyrus.
So excited to have this opportunity now to dedicate the building to Dr. Cecil Cyrus and his lifetime, really, of dedication to the health and well-being of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So it's been something that we've been very inspired by. It's been a long-term coming as far as a dream to have a location for better and more continuous access to teaching, to excellence in technology and techniques for eye care in St. Vincent to begin with, and maybe to be able to expand that to other medical services in the future as well. So being able to build on his legacy is really an amazing day for us, and we're very, very excited to do that.
Dr. McCabe said the center is set to undergo a number of renovations and the tentative timeline for the opening is 2023.
There's some updating that needs to be done to some of the structure, the roof, some of the electricity, but as soon as we have all of that in place, along with maybe a little bit of an improved flow for the floor plan, then we'll start bringing in equipment, because it's important for us to have really the best quality of care as well as charitable care for patients here. So I don't really, unfortunately, have a perfect timeline for that, because supplies are sometimes difficult to get a hold of and things are a little bit less reliable now. But we're hoping over the next year to really make significant improvements, and if all goes well, perhaps we can do our first cases there when we're here this time next year.
The Milton Keto Memorial Hospital has received a facelift through an art project undertaken by the Psychology Department in collaboration with Demerara Mutual Life Insurance, several local artists, and the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment. The wall paintings or murals seek to bring a sense of healing through art therapy. Counselor in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, Dr. Cecil Miller, said that the psychology department at the Milton Keto Memorial Hospital initiated the project to uplift the physical environment of the hospital, which was well supported.
The hospital, we think of healing, and we want to make sure that even as persons come as patients or if family members are just simply waiting around, that you still feel a sense of healing, you still feel some comfort when you are here. And we wanted to use art as a way of bringing that out. And the research has shown that art is very, very essential in hospital settings to actually promote not just comfort and compassion, but allow persons to feel a sense of hope, a sense of optimism. And it was really I was very thankful that we were able to get 2 artists who were willing to work along with us with this initiative.
Another initiative that the department hopes to undertake is art therapy with patients and staff at the hospital.
In the next few months, we should be implementing that, where persons will actually be using art as a means of coping with some of the challenges or difficulties that they have. And even as patients being on ward, that if they will use the art as a coping mechanism as well, even as they're dealing with their illness and whatever stress and challenges they have as well. I would like to really take the time to say thank you, much thanks again, and we expect that we're going to expand a bit more, and I am hopeful that other persons will come on board to partner with us as we continue to enhance and uplift our environment.
Deputy Hospital Administrator Andrew Williams thanked the Psychology Department along with all the other stakeholders who assisted with the Hospital Enhancement Initiative.
I would like to thank the persons who are instrumental in designing and painting the demonstrations on the walls. There are one here at the female surgical ward, and there's another at the lab department atrium. I would like to thank them cordially and to encourage them to continue partnering with us. I would like to thank Demerara Mutual Life and Insurance and Government Employees Cooperative Credit Union for sponsoring the materials that go a long way in doing these lovely paintings. These paintings would go a long way in bringing some healing to our patients, our visitors, and also our staff. It would go a long way in helping to heal some of the pains that persons feel from time to time. Sometimes we don't take into consideration psychological therapy, but at this point we would want to embrace psychological therapy at Milton Keto Memorial Hospital. This also would complement the outlook of the hospital in that we are doing some current renovations in and around the compound.
And several pieces of stolen artifacts from SVG, which were recovered by the FBI in the United States, were returned to the island and were unveiled at a ceremony at the Curator's House in the Botanical Gardens on Saturday. The chairperson of the National Trust for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Deirdre Mears, explained that the artifacts, one made of basalt and the other from conchs, are special tools called addes that were used to create a wide variety of items. As a link to the country's history and origins, Mayor said the artifacts deserve to be preserved. Delivering the feature address at the ceremony, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves says evidence suggests that the recovered artifacts dated back thousands of years and urged organizations such as the National Trust as well as local historians to uncover and document this country's history. Both artifacts are expected to be exhibited at the Carnegie Building or the Old Public Library, where several important pieces from the country's past are being housed.